So this situation we're watching, and people are a little disturbed by what they think the police did in this situation. So they're asking the question. The question is, do they think the police went too far? I'm just going to tell you up front. I don't think they went too far. I don't know if we agree with how this went about. I'll show you the video in a couple seconds here, but I don't know if I agree with what some people are saying is that they went too far in this situation. It was to be expected what they did.
How you doing, sir?
How you doing, man?
You have your driver's license information on you?
What's going on?
I'll be happy to tell you once I see who I'm talking to, all right?
I need you to let me know, like, what's going on, like, what happened?
Like I said, I'd be happy to tell you once I see information.
I'm not giving you my information until you tell me what you pulling me over for.
All right, sir. Failure to give me my information is an arrestable offense, okay? So you can either do this the easy way or the hard way, all right?
I need to know what you pulling me over for.
I'm going to tell you once I see information, all right?
I got information, but I'm not giving you my information until you tell me what you pulling me over for.
Here's the deal. Either give me your ID or you go to jail. How about that?
Put this on camera, man, because we're not dealing with this.
Give me your ID.
I need to know
right.
Why you pulling me over.
Give him your ID.
Detail 5 radio. I'll be on a stop, entrance to the parks. Please send me another car. I have a uncooperative occupant. Last chance.
Detail 31. Look, I need to know why you pulling this
Give
over.
him your ID. He's gonna tell you why.
All right, step out of the car.
It's been 2 minutes. I'm not stepping out the car until you tell me what's going on.
All right, open the door.
Hey, put this on camera. Put this on camera. You gotta let me know what's going on, man. You're not doing it.
You're going to jail is what's going on.
For what?
For what? You ain't. What charges? On what charges? Wow.
Get out of the car now. Yo, my shit,
First of all, he asked the police question, what'd you pull me over for? He doesn't know he ran a stop sign. He don't know what he did. So he's suspicious. So he said, what'd you pull me over for? This is a police officer in a uniform. He says, I'll let you know as soon as I see your ID. There's nothing wrong with that. That's his choice. Usually they'll tell you right there when they get to your window. They might even ask you, do you know why I pulled you over? Or they'll just tell you. Or they're not going to tell you anything. They ask for your ID and registration, and then they take it back to their car, look you up. Then they come back with a ticket, usually, and then they'll tell you, which will tell you, or they'll explain then what you did, and then they'll ask you if you have any questions. That's usually how it works. It's one of those two ways. I don't know why police officers will ask. Some will tell you, most will tell you in the beginning, others will tell you later on. I don't know what the situation is, but it don't matter. It doesn't matter what that situation is. And but this person didn't want to give his ID, as you saw. He didn't want to give his ID. He wanted to know what's up. So before he gives his ID, he wants the police officer to explain what's up. Well, that's not how it works. You can ask the police why you pulled me over, and they may tell you then, or they may tell you later. The police officer assured him that he would tell him later. That needs to be good enough. That has to be good enough. He says, I'll tell you later. It has to be good enough. He told you what his process is. I'm going to look at your ID, see who I'm dealing with. Then I'll come back and I'll let you know. That's what he says. It has to be good enough. Now, the gentleman pushed it a little bit. He says, well, he hesitated. I'm not going to give you my ID until I know why you pulled me over. So they're having this conversation. The police officer said again, he explained to him, he could have told him, it could have been easy, but for whatever reason, he didn't want to. That's his prerogative. That's fine. So to agree with it or not, there's nothing to agree with or not agree with it. It just is. You don't agree, you don't disagree in these situations. It just is. You got pulled over. You don't tell the police how they're going to conduct with you. You don't want police brutality and all that stuff. I understand that. But whatever their process is, you don't interrupt their process. They're telling you what the process is, if they even tell you at all. They're telling you what the process is. He told you. He told you, when I get your ID and look you over, then I'll tell you why. Now, I understand why the man might be suspicious, because sometimes, sometimes, particularly in poor areas or with people of color, the police arbitrarily pull people over for stuff, maybe make stuff up. Even though I say the vast majority of people, police are honest, they do a great job, but it happens. So maybe he is suspicious, so he's making a stand. There's nothing wrong with making a stand. So he's making a stand. He wants to know why. He's made a stand. So we're having this conversation twice now with the police officer. He's making a stand. Nothing wrong with it per se, not yet. But when you're making a stand, you have to know your environment. You have to have an understanding of the arena that you're in and what you're dealing with. It's okay to make a stand. People need to make a stand. People need to know that they don't let other people know they don't agree with anything, especially if you're in a situation where you feel that a situation could be abusive, or like you go in a store and somebody mistreats you, you make a stand. Or if you're on a job, you make a stand. And it's okay, you're making a stand with the police officer. You're making a stand. It's all right. But you got to know your arena, and you got to know how far you're going to go. So you made the stand. No ID, I want to know. So the police officer is conversing with you. 3 times goes by. He's asking for the ID. He told you what his process is. He's not going to change it. You're still refusing. Now, at this point, you made your stand twice. You made it clear that, you don't know what's going on. And you want information from the police. He's not going to give it to you at this point. So at this point, you made your stand. It's all good. But at this point, it's time to be knowledgeable about the arena that you're in. Okay. You made your stand with the police officer. He's not giving in. So it should be over at this point. Right. And then the other consideration, you should think about who's in the car with you. Your wife's in the car with you. Whenever you're pulled over by the police, everybody's a little apprehensive. Everybody's a little tense. And sometimes the police are too. You got your wife next to you. She's a little tense as well. And now the police are asking you a simple request, ID. And you're not giving it. You're making this situation tense. You're making it more difficult than it needs to be. She's getting nervous. She's talking to you. She's asking you to give the ID. It's just that simple. So that's where it ends. You made your stand. Good for you, but that's where it ends. But as husbands, what's most important to us is our family members, particularly our wives. And we have to protect our wives. We'll do anything to protect our wives. And we have to protect our wives. So that means when you're in these situations, you don't want to do anything unnecessarily to hurt your wife. It's not that she may get physically hurt in this altercation that you're going to have with the police, because that's eventually what happens. It's just that you're making her nervous. You're creating unnecessary fear in her. She doesn't want to see you hurt by a police officer. She doesn't want to see you dragged out of the car by a police officer. She doesn't want to see you go to jail. She doesn't want to see that. And because of your actions and what you're doing, you're going to create that situation. You have to look at all of this. But anyway, the police officer finally gives warning, right? He lets you know what's going to happen. He lets you know you don't have a choice. You either comply or you go to jail. We do this the easy way, we do the hard way. One thing about police, they don't bluff. He's telling you, he's giving you ample warning what could happen. That's a courtesy. Look, man, I know you're making a stand, you're fighting here, but this is not going to get you anywhere. This is going to get you in jail. This is going to get you dragged out of the car. He's letting you know he don't want to do it. And so he's letting you know. So this is definitely, now you're at the line. This is definitely a time to say, yeah, you know what? You're right. My ID is in my back pocket. I'm pulling out right now. And then he'll say, go ahead. You pull it out, give it to him. He'll ask insurance papers, glove compartment. He says, okay, you reach for it, you give it to him, you know, and then we move on. That's the last resort right there. But he gives you the warning. He tells you what he's going to do, and you're still don't want to give this idea. You're still stuck on this. Why'd you pull me over? You know, you still feel like you were wrong somehow, and maybe you was, but you got to know your environment and what you're into. You made a stand 3 times now. Nothing's happening. It's not working. And they're giving you courtesy, letting you know what's going to happen next. But you ignored it. You ignored what he told you, the police officer, and you're ignoring your wife that's sitting next to you, who is begging you to give the ID, who is hurting for you, who doesn't want to see you hurt, who knows something ain't going to go right. She's listening to the police. She knows it's not going to go down right. So then he calls for backup, right? He never pulls out a gun. He never pulls out a stun gun either. He calls for backup. They tell you to open the door. You don't open the door. He breaks the window, right? And then they drag you out. Did they go too far? I don't know. I think you went too far. I think that citizen, the driver, went too far. It's okay to make a stand, like I said, and you made a stand 3 or 4 times. It's okay to make a stand first 2 times, whatever you want to do, and let a police officer know whatever your feelings are, and you're having this conversation. But know your environment. You took the stand too far. They warned you. They told you what they're going to do, and they did it. There's no surprise there. So yeah, I think the citizen went too far. The driver went too far. The police told you what they were going to do. That's all I got.